Hello friends, in my earlier video I have shown you how to insert the data with the help of C# language from the front end to back end. Only the uses of the text boxes, by only the uses of text boxes. Now, sometimes when we make a registration form or any form, we do have the radio buttons, we do have the drop down list, we do have a checkbox in the registration form. So in case if we have the things like the radio buttons and the drop down list and the checkboxes, so how we write the C# code to get the values from these controls. So today we'll have a scenario like that. You can see we have first name, last name, gender and state. These are the four fields. Now what I'm going to do, for a first field and the last name, I'm going to have two text boxes. So you can see I'm going to take the two text boxes. You can see these are the two text boxes. Placing a text box over here, just copy it, and in the another column I'm listing it. This is what the control V, control C and control V. This is text box 1, this is text box 2, gender, male and female. So to implement this particular thing, we have a radio button list. You can see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a radio button list in this particular column, and you can see this thing is appearing. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go on to the properties of this radio button list. By default, the ID of radio button list ID is radio button list 1. Now go to the collections. You can see I'm going to add two values. Clicking on the add, give a text is male, and by default the value is male only. I'm going to change it. I'm going to give a 0 for the male. I'm going to add another thing. The word is the female. Okay, and the value is female, but I'm going to change this value to 1. Okay, and now you can see I have two things over here, male and female. State is always appearing, we have a drop down list. So what I'm gonna do is let's okay, toolbox, and in the toolbox we have a drop down list. Okay, I'm going to put a drop down list. Now in this drop down list I'm going to put some items. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to properties, and I'm going to put some collections, like say, okay, add as some states like Delhi. I'm not going to change the values. I'm going to add another thing, uh, say Karnataka, Karnata, something like that, Karnataka. Another value you can add, say it's Punjab, Punjab, Punjab. Okay, so there are so many states in India, so I'm going to add only the three. After that, sometimes you see we have something we call it as checkbox. I'm going to drag a checkbox and I'm going to give it a text. I'm going to write on this text box is I accept. You can see it's I accept terms and conditions. CUNDITIONS conditions. Okay, press enter. You can see, and in the last thing I'm going to take one button. Okay, you can see button I'm dragging and dropping. I'm just going to change the text of this particular thing. This is what submit. Now what I'm going to do, we have this form. So let's look at the things. Let's look at the C# code, how the code will help us to get the values from these controls. These are the web controls. I'll get the values from these web controls at the runtime and will submit into a table, the user one. The user one has first name, last name, gender and the state. Okay, so until and unless, oh okay, there's some problems. It's I've written the wrong things. Okay, these are the terms. Okay, I accept terms and conditions. So until and unless user is not ticking this particular checkbox, it's not checking it out, the submit button is not going to perform. What I'm going to do, submit. As I explained you earlier, whenever you're working with the databases, you always need to have the three of the namespaces. The three namespaces are, you can see, I'm just going to copy it from my earlier code, that is the copy, and I'm going to paste it namespaces. Control V. Now this is the button one, the submit button one. By default the ID is button one only. So SQL connection, again this thing is the same, so I'm going to copy it from the earlier. This is the control C I'm taking and pasting it here. Now let's do the other thing. SQL command cmd is equal to new of SQL command insert into user1. This is a table name. Values, we have to insert the 4 values, so I'm going to create the 4 references. The very first reference is at the rate of f, first name, comma, at the rate of l, the last name, at the rate of gender, the male and female, and at the rate of state. Okay, so you can see these are things I'm gonna pass, and I'm going to pass the connection as well. Now, cmd dot parameters dot add. So the very first reference is at the rate of f, at the rate of f, comma, SQL db type, the capital S, dot varchar. I have selected the varchar as the data type for all the fields in a table. So cmd dot parameters back brackets at the rate of f dot value is equal to textbox1 dot text. Okay, and you can see, right? Now this is for the first name, the very first text box. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to do it for the second text box. I'm just changing the references over here. That is the L, that is the L over here, and this is the second text box 2, text box 2 dot text. Now as you have seen that in the radio button list I have two values. Radio, one is the male and second one is the female, and the selected value for the male is 0 and for the female it is 1. So what I'm going to write, if by default the id of radio button is radio button list 1 dot selected value is equal to double is equal to 0. Okay, what I'm going to write, I'm going to pass, copy, control V, and what is the third references here is gender is, I'm going to write G here and G here, and I'm going to write what you can see, I'm going to write radio button list dot selected text. It is not where it is the selected item dot to string definition. In case if you can see, I can put the else condition also, or you can put the else if condition, it's up to you. Else if radio button list dot selected value is equal to 1, then it is going to put a female, and for a female what exactly it is, these are the curly braces, I have to close it, and you can see double equals to, this is now going, pasting it, control V, and all these things. So I'm going to put it here, the radio button list dot selected value dot to string. Okay, now the last one is, now this condition has been completed for if else if condition, and the last one is the drop down list cmd dot parameter. I'm just pasting it, control V, and this is G, this is again we have to put it G here, we have to put it G here. Okay, all these things are correct, and the last one is the state S, and this is S. At the end you can see we have to drop down list 1, so drop down list 1, by default the id of the drop down list is drop down list 1, so I'm going to select it dot selected value, selected item, you can see, okay, selected item dot to string. That's all. Okay, now everything has been completed. Text boxes at the text box 1 first name value, text box 2 last name value. If 0, then I'm going to put what we say male. If it is 1, I'm going to put female, and the values that I'm going to select from the drop down list. Okay, now connection dot open, cmd dot execute non-query, and connection dot close. Now I have a condition over here ki if I'll check the checkbox, if I'll accept the terms and condition, only there this code is going to run. So I'm going to put whole code into the if condition. If checkbox 1, you can see, dot checked is equal to true. I'm going to put the whole code into the this particular thing. If checkbox 1 dot checked is equal to true, then this thing is going to happen. Right. After that, response dot write, you can see response dot write, oh sorry, it's a message, data inserted successfully. Let's see. That's all. Okay, so let's run this code. We'll see. Let's run it. So now this program is going to run, this webform 2 is going to run, and you can see the values are appearing on the browser. Wait for a moment. Okay, meanwhile I'll tell you, like, these are the web controls we have, like the text boxes, the radio buttons, the drop down list, and these are the controls that we are using at the design time to send the values through these controls to the backend. And now it's been completed. Now yes, you can see these are first name. You can put any first name, like say Rahul, last name is um, anything, you say Rahul, anything, or you can say Rahul Gupta, something is a male it is a 0, female it is a 1. I'm going to select Karnataka, checkbox checked, submit button, and you can see the message is coming, data inserted successfully.